My name is Sammy Ayalew. I was born and raised in northwest Ethiopia. I got a scholarship from a charity. I've applied to go to Cambridge for a course in computational biology. It's a 1-year MPhil course.
My name is David Stables. I'm a state pensioner and I'm retired, but in actual fact I spend most of my time running a small charity.
My name is Bertschinger. I was a nurse with the International Committee of the Red Cross. People remember me for the clip that was shown on Michael Burke's film back in 1984 when I was running a feeding centre.
For 15 years, Claire Bertschinger was an aid worker in areas struck by famine and war. In 1991, she was awarded the Florence Nightingale Medal, and in 2006, she was named Woman of the Year.
Whilst I was in Ethiopia, we were taken round by a guy who's called Bizrat. And I said, why are you so different from everybody else? Because other people here who've been to school and educated in Meckley don't speak English as well as you, and even their education isn't as high as you. And he said, well, that's because I was sponsored by A-CET. It's a charity that sponsors children through their schooling, African Children's Education Trust.
African Children's Educational Trust.
African Children's Educational Trust.
African Children's Educational Trust, or A-CET, targets vulnerable children who without help would have no education. A-CET helps to build schools and gives financial assistance to individual students. Its work in Ethiopia has vastly improved the prospects of thousands of children in one of the poorest countries in the world.
The people to save Ethiopia are Ethiopians. Give them the tools to do the job, and that, I believe, education is the key. It's all right building roads and health centres, but if the people don't know they get trachoma and gastric diseases through lack of washing and not using proper toilet facilities, what's the point?
My name is Martha and I'm an A-CET student.
My ambition is to enter university and to continue my education.
A-CET has changed my family's life and mine.
I want to be a doctor. That means my preference is that a doctor.
They have helped me to be top in my class.
92% of the money raised by A-CET goes directly to educate children. There are no UK salaries, professional fees or advertising costs. A-CET is lean and efficient, one of the most efficient charities working in Africa.
Many of the big charities, of course, they spend so much money on publicity, so much money on overheads of staff and buildings, on actually spending a lot of money on getting the money in.
Having worked for the last 20-odd years in various sort of aid and development, I've seen a great deal of waste, and it upsets me, and I make sure that we don't waste money. And the people out in Ethiopia who work for the charity, they're very careful about how they spend the money.
David Stables has been running A-CET voluntarily since 1997. He's worked for most of his life in Africa and is the main fundraiser for the charity in the UK.
He lives on a pension. It's not a big pension. So he puts humanity first before economics.
This is my living room. So it's where I relax, where I read, where I watch the TV, and where I doze in the chair. That's the half that you're sitting in now. Behind me is A-CET.
He's able to live for the charity. So I know this charity works, I've seen it working, and it does work extremely well, but not all charities can do that.
I think the way forward is through lots of small initiatives on the ground like us. We give targeted giving. So when people give us £20,000 to help build a school, that £20,000 gets out to the community and we can do incredible things.
This building site is Aderak School in northern Ethiopia. A few months ago, it was a single hut with no windows. Barely a handful of local children received any education here. When this work, funded by A-CET, is finished, the school will support the education of over 800 children from the entire area. 6 months later, and the work on Aderak School is completed. David is on his way to attend the opening ceremony. It's impossible to imagine the impact that the opening of this school will have on a poor rural community. Aderak is in a remote farming area, often inaccessible to vehicles in the rain. It has as yet no electricity, piped water, or other services. The locals are mainly illiterate farmers, scraping a poor living from a degraded, rocky land. These are stoic, proud people who are intelligent and hard-working. They, like many Africans, appreciate the value of education, but until now, their children have had to walk for hours to reach the nearest school. This has meant low school attendance, with many choosing to stay home to help with the farming. The opening of this new school is a big day for the thousands who attend. There's little entertainment and no television in Aderak, so these performances by Circus Salam are a rare treat. The circus is a self-run voluntary group of 40 children whose full-time education is sponsored by A-CET. Local villagers perform traditional dance and speeches are made.
Students of Fikre Alem, study hard, because with education your dreams can come true.
A-CET arranged for the building of Aderak School by local workers with local stone, which was hand-quarried and cut. All materials and furniture were locally sourced. The money came, in the main, from generous donations from a consortium of European international schools, from Band-Aid Trust, and from private individuals. Senior A-CET students also come to support the opening. They're role models for the new students at Aderak, as many of them are now studying at college or university. Bizrat, who runs A-CET in Ethiopia, arranged and coordinated the opening celebrations. The Ethiopian Ministry of Education has pledged that it will support schools such as Aderak by providing them with teachers. But for most communities, the cost of the school building is too high to allow them to benefit. Desta Abera is the secretary to the Bureau of Education. He and the Ethiopian government fully support A-CET's work, and it is this support and involvement of local leaders which makes the work so effective. The school now has 16 teachers and 1 director, and will serve over 800 local children. It's radically improved the lives and prospects of a whole community. £5,000 builds a classroom, which can provide education for up to 100 children per day in 2 shifts. There are thousands of other communities which could be transformed by such a school.
I have seen how much it means just giving pennies, £10 a month to a charity and supporting somebody or supporting a school. It means so much. You've only got to look at Sammy, how well he's done.
Sammy was the first A-CET student to go to a British university. He was offered an MPhil place at Cambridge University to read computational biology. He believes that there are thousands more like him, desperate to learn, if they could find the kind of support Sammy received from A-CET.
Everyone feels so safe and supported, and they are all desperate to learn. Just go to school, learn, and they are doing well, really well. So, it's changing their lives.
Of course, A-CET will continue to sponsor individual children like Sammy, helping them to reach their full potential. But by transforming entire schools like the one at Aderak, A-CET can also help to provide the spark of learning which will secure the future of whole communities. Please help A-CET to continue its work in Ethiopia. Children are the solution to this country's problems. Only through better education can Ethiopians avoid the recurring cycle of poverty. With your support, A-CET can give these children the proper education which they so desperately need.
Thank you.